Hey there, Photo Universe. Sorry, I got some good news to report finally. The K3, I'm setting my timer here because my 4 GB limit on my video shuts me down in about 10 minutes. That's why about every 10 minutes I have those breaks. So I got some good news. We got to the bottom of the problem with the Pentax K-3 in terms of why it wasn't performing the way it should perform. It was doing what it should do, but it's different from the K5-2S and the K5, and it was that little subtle difference that was kind of throwing me off. So we'll get to that in a minute. So okay, so what the problem was is we were shooting JPEGs, and when we got to 1/500th of a second at 135mm lens, this lens right here, the Pentax 50-135, which I just got about a couple days ago, last week, and that's part of the problem too. Okay, so let me go into this. I know this is going to be scattered a little bit because it's kind of all over the place, but that's the way, the nature of this problem. So if you don't know what you're doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody starts somewhere or doesn't have the time or whatever, you know, and they love photography. You know, that's the way I am with music. I love music, but playing the guitar, but I don't really, never took the time to put the time into it. So if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't get a sharp shot, hey, chances are you probably made a big mistake, right? Your shutter speed was, you were hand holding at a 30th of a second with SR off with a 200mm lens, right? And you know, okay, and so eventually you figure that out, right? But it's kind of a mystery, right? For me, and for people who have been doing this for 30 years and have been, you know, paid to do it, I've shot thousands of weddings, for example. We can't have that. I can't get a picture. Like when a picture is wrong, I need to know why it's wrong. I need to know what. I need to know why what. Like if a picture is wrong, I can look at it and go, oh yeah, I screwed that up, right? And I'll know why I screwed that up. I can shoot a wedding, I can shoot 1,000 images, and there'll maybe be 10 ones that are screwed up, right? And I can look at the information, or see that the flash didn't go off, or something like that. It's usually something huge, or something stupid, right? Where I was being stupid, or I'm in a hurry, and I turned and I took the picture, and I looked at, geez, and I took, the next one's gonna be right. So my point is like, there's no mysteries here. And I'm not bragging. I mean, after you do something for 30 years, you should, professionally, you should know what your machine's doing and why it's doing it. And the point that I'm trying to make is, so I took the K3 out there and I did something that I should, like the results are predictable. Like I know what I should get, and I didn't get that. And so that says to me, okay, I want to know why. What is this thing? Is there something wrong? Point being is, if we had, like, if my K5-2S started doing that, there's something's wrong. It's going back to Kurt, what are they? Who are they in Chris Photo or something? Whoever does Pentax repairs in Arizona, right? Those guys are great, by the way. I can't remember their name. Anyway, you know, if my K5-2S did that, it'd go back. There's something wrong with it, okay? Because I know that camera. I've been shooting with it for over a year, and it's a lot like the K5, which I've been shooting with for over 2 years. Okay. So get the K3, and it's an unknown quantity, right? We don't know if this thing is working, or is there a problem, or is it or is it something new in the camera, or is there a mistake in the way they made it, or whatever? Okay, so I go out and I shoot some stuff, and like it's not turning out predictably the way I think it should turn out, the way it would and the way it did with my K5-2S. What's going on? What's the difference? So the good news is I figured it out. Okay, I can now predictably recreate the problem and predictably fix the problem. Problem solved, and I got news for you. It's not, well, it is the K3, but it's by design. It's not that there's something wrong with this, with my K3. I'm not saying other people that are having problems don't have something wrong with their cameras. Maybe, but my camera's working perfectly. As a matter of fact, right now, from all the testing I've done, I'm signing off on the K3. If you get a K3 as good as my K3, it's a great camera. But there's one unique difference from the K3 to the K5-2S, that you need to shoot it differently, or you need to change some settings, and then you won't run into the problem that I ran into. Okay, so the first issue is that, let's get into the specific problem. The specific problem was at 1/500th of a second with a 135 millimeter lens, handheld with SR off and a low ISO, my shots weren't sharp. Okay, so it's a new lens. This isn't a. I mean, I did some quick testing of it. It looked okay. It's a good lens. It's a sharp lens. It's a good copy. But the only telephoto that I've been using for the past year has been the Tamron 70-200 2.8. Okay. Guess what? I just assumed that this $1,000. I think they want $1,400 for this lens, the Pentax, the 50-135. I got it for $1,000 on sale Black Friday. The Tamron $780 with a $100 rebate or $50 rebate or something. The Tamron's sharper. So that's issue number one. Is this lens is slightly less sharp than the Tamron. Are they both good? Yeah, they're both good. Is this Pentax a keeper? Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Maybe. I'm thinking about it. I think I'm going to. This Pentax is a lot smaller and a lot lighter, right? I mean, without lens hoods, the Pentax has got a big lens hood on it. But, right, I mean, yeah. So, this is a 70-200, this is a 50-135. This is equivalent to a 70-200 in film on a full frame camera. This is equivalent to about a 100-300 on a full frame camera. If you're only going to have one, get the Tamron. So that's why, you know, with this not being a stellar performer in terms of like the Tamron's better, geez, I don't know, you know. So anyway, the Tamron's a little sharper. I'm used to that a little bit sharper, okay? The 50-135 at 135 millimeter at f5.6 is not as sharp as the Tamron. That's the first issue. So the point that I'm trying to make, going back to my earlier point, right, when something goes wrong for me, it's either I made a mistake, I see it immediately, and it's a big mistake because I just screwed up, or, and this is the case with the K3, it's a lot of little things changing. That's how a plane crashes too, right? Pilots are up there, they know what they're doing, they see the big, they don't, you know, they make a big mistake, they correct it right away, but a lot of little things add up in the chain and all of a sudden the plane crashes. Okay, so same thing with the K3, those images weren't sharp because it's a bunch of little things. This lens is a little less sharp than the Tamron 70-200. It was something I suspected. And that's why I tested for that. I tested the Tamron, I tested the AB right next to each other. And that's when I found that out. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, and this is the smoking gun. This is what's really changed here. This is what really did me in, okay? I have left the high ISO noise reduction on my K5 and my K5-2S set to auto. And on the K5 and the K5-2S, it's not that big a deal. When I shot high ISO stuff, and by high ISO, I mean 3200, 6400. Yeah, you know, okay, at 800 and 400 and 1600, nah, it didn't really do anything, okay? Okay. Particularly when I did when I went 1/500th, 1/1000th, 1/2000th of a second, 1/4000th of a second, I was keeping the aperture at f5.6. I was thinking that the high ISO noise reduction set to auto didn't make that big a deal because it doesn't on the K5-2S. So yeah, that's my screw up, right, I guess. Well, so on the K3, when I shot 1/500th, 1/1000th, 1/2000th, 1/4000th, the ISO was going 400, 800, 1600. Didn't really go to 3200. So I figured, well, the K5-2S has been stellar at 1600. Absolutely tack sharp. K3 is going to be exactly the same. I'm below 3200. Don't have to worry about it. Turned off high ISO noise reduction in the K3. All of a sudden, all my those shots were sharp. Conclusion: the K3 high ISO noise reduction is very aggressive on the default auto setting. So if you're out there walking around shooting 800, 1600, 3200, which you could do all day long on a K5-2S set to auto, The K3 high ISO noise reduction at 100% pixel peeping on your screen is going to make your images blurry. So high ISO noise reduction set to auto on the K3 will result in blurry images at 800, 1600 at 100% viewing. Okay, and so I think that's what maybe that's part of what was going on with people. It comes default set to auto, and you go out and it's easy to kick up before with the K5-2S, you shoot at 1600 or 800, you get beautiful sharp images, and you're pixel peeping them at 100%. They're great, even set to auto. The K5-2S, the K3 it's aggressive, and that made the difference. I mean, it really did. And the proof is in the pudding. I turn off the high ISO noise reduction, and my shots at 1600 ISO at 1,000th of a second, 2,000, everything's sharp again. All right, is there a little noise? I don't know, but it's sharp. And the trick is, but the real key is it's sharp with this lens at that point, but it's sharper with the Tamron. So if you're only going to have one of those lenses, get the Tamron. And poor Pentax, I mean, really? For the money they're charging for this, it's awesome. Now that gets into something else. So this Tamron 17-50, not to just go off on a tangent here, but that other problem's solved. I'm signing off on the K3. I get it now. I understand how it works. I'm not saying that there aren't other things that are going to crop up. They're going to be like, well, what's it doing now? But that was an anomaly. That was behavior that shouldn't have been happening. And whenever something's doing something it shouldn't be doing, like, what's changed? Because it's very easy to assume that the K3 is the K5, is the K5-2S. The cameras are so much the same, and that's a good thing, because the K5, K5-2S are awesome ergonomically and interface-wise. So it's really easy to fall into that trap thinking the K3 is going to behave exactly like the K5-2S. It's not. Okay, and here's something else I'll tell you that I learned with this whole program. With the Tamron lens set to 135 on the K5-2S and the K3, and this shouldn't be any revelation, the K3 is sharper than the K5-2S. There's no question about it. There's no question about it. I mean, we're talking an nth degree here, because the K5-2S is very sharp. I like the little handling differences in the K3, but the K5-2S is still an awesome camera, don't get me wrong, but the K3 is that nth level of sharpness higher. But I'm telling you right now, if you're coming from a K5 or a K5-2S and you get the K3, watch out. Some things that you may take for granted have actually changed. So don't take anything for granted. And this is exactly what the point is. If you take your camera out and you're doing everything like you were doing it with your K5-2 that was giving you good shots, and you're not getting good shots all of a sudden, it may not be the camera, and it may not be you. It may be you thinking the way you did with your old camera with your new camera. So yeah, to a certain extent, because we've got this new resolution and the higher the settings have changed for the high ISO noise reduction, we have to relearn the camera. Things are different now. Like, that's a parameter that you can't just leave alone anymore. You have to think about it. You only have to think about it once. I mean, clearly high ISO noise reduction at set to low, test it, I don't know, but that might be the way to go. Quite honestly, at 1600, I didn't see any noise with the noise reduction set to off in the JPEGs. So I may just leave it off. I mean, I don't do a lot of that shooting. If I do a wedding reception, something like that, I might set it to JPEG, and then I'd have to figure out which high ISO noise reduction I'd want. So so that's where we're at with that. Oh, and okay, so I was going to talk about the 17-50 versus the 16-50 Pentax lenses. The 16-50 is bigger. I don't know which one's sharper, but the reason I'm going into this is because of the difference between the Pentax and the Tamron 70-250 to 135 difference. The 17-50 versus the 16-50. I like the handling on the 16-50. I like the weather seal. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to test it to see if the 17-50 is sharper. So that's it. That's a question. Moving forward, now that I found out that the Tamron 70-200 is sharper than the Pentax 50 to 135. I do like this form factor. It's a great walk-around lens. But that's a lot of money for a lens that I've got covered with this lens. And I actually really like the handling of the Tamron 70-200. The Tamron 17-50, that's my only complaint with that lens, is the handling on it, particularly the way the lens hood kind of, you know, it's just, I don't know. So, but that, for the money, it's a huge value. I'll tell you right now, if my 16-50 Pentax lens is optically as good as my 17-50 Tamron, I'll keep both. But if the Pentax lens is not optically as good as the Tamron, I'm not sure about that, because those lenses are identical in terms of function. Not sure about this 50-135 though. It not being as good as the Tamron. What this is really going to be based upon is whether the Tamron fits in my latest, newest, and best camera bag I've ever used, which I got a review coming up for that. I'm really excited about this bag. I've had a lot of bags, and this one is just, it's not even a camera bag. It's not really sold as a camera bag, and it's the best camera bag I've ever used, because I got all kinds of other stuff in it. I mean, it's the best bag I've ever used. So that's a teaser for a video coming up here soon. Okay, I apologize for this video being all over the place, but it was a few little things that added up to create a behavior that I wasn't expecting. And right away your brain goes to, camera's got a problem. And it's really not a problem. It's just something, there's a parameter that's changed in the K3 that was different on the K5-2S, and it created results that I wasn't expecting. And there's the answer. So until the K3 starts behaving in a way that I don't understand in terms of images aren't what I think they should be, I'm signing off on it. I've got this problem under control. It's not a problem. It's just understanding how the camera works better, which I do now, and I understand what's going on in there. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I can tell you right now, I can turn high, and here's the bottom line. I can turn high ISO noise reduction off. I can go outside with my Tamron 70-200 set to 135, and I can take 135mm shots all day long that are absolutely tack sharp at 100%. Camera's working perfectly, okay? So, there's the answer. All right, it's Ed with Photo Universe. Thanks for hanging in there. I mean, also another thing that, if you're not sure, it's the process of finding out what the problem was that's kind of instructive too. So realize, like, working through this problem and approaching this like, what's going on, and wanting to know what the answer is without all the emotion. I mean, oh man, people on the forums, it's like it's like I called their puppies bad names or something. Guys, if the camera's got a problem, I want to know it. If the camera's got a new behavior that's different from my old camera, my K5-2S, I want to know that too. This is just, it's not emotional, it's like, what's going on? Because if there's something broken in the camera, I want to be able to document it, send it off to Pentax, and get them to fix it. I love the camera. This is an awesomely, I mean, again, I've gone on and on how this camera is awesome. It's everything I've ever wanted the K5-2S to be. And not that there's anything wrong with the K5-2S, it's an awesome camera too. This is awesomer. All right, but don't get so emotionally wrapped up into this. It's fun. Keep it fun. Work through the problems, figure out what's going on, and when you figure out what's going on, you feel good, and you know, now I know more information about this tool and how to use it, and that makes me a better photographer, and hopefully by sharing the information with you guys, it makes all y'all better photographers too. So that's what this is all about. We're all learning here. We're all trying to figure it out together. That's Ed with Photo Universe. Thanks for watching. And camera bag review coming up that I'm really excited about. I love this bag. It's my everyday carry bag, and now I have my camera with me every day, which I've had other camera bags that I just don't, you know. Anyway, I'm not going to do that review now. This is the K3, problem resolved. Awesome. All right, have a good one.